We're talking about the Pacers. They're playing our old nemesis, the Milwaukee Bucks. I guess that we'll start with the sort of overarching narrative of this, and I think this is this sort of big picture thing, and then we can dig down into what we really think the factors of this is going to be. Giannis, have forgotten about collectively in our NBA consciousness because he was able to play 2 games in last year's playoffs. Mike consistently pulls the wool over the eyes of the listening public about one Doc Rivers and just cast dispersions on a regular basis. And I think that the Milwaukee Bucks, with a healthy Giannis, despite their dysfunction, despite the fact that their loss was our gain when they made a really lopsided, not a lopsided trade with us, but like a trade that worked out so well for us, a free agency signing that worked out so well for us. And, obviously we've been reaping the benefits of that, and they've been sort of souring in the last few years. That being said, I think Giannis needs to come out and make a statement in these playoffs, and I think that does not bode well for the Pacers. I think I'll go right back to you, Ray, because, you were just talking about where the Pacers going from strength to strength. I do think that the smart money is probably on Indiana. I haven't looked at the odds or anything, but I think the probably consensus. I'm willing to bet I'm going to say this, and you guys are going to go against me on this logic. But I'm still scared of that big fucker, and I don't fly in the face of the best player in the series when the best player of the series, in my opinion, is Giannis.
Yeah, he absolutely is the best player in the series, but it's the argument for him and that team is a little different than Denver because, we've seen, Jokic get it done. I mean, obviously, Giannis has got it done, but I'm saying like the rest of the guys on the team. Well, Kuzma he was on the Lakers when they won, but he wasn't a big piece to that championship team. But you got guys like AJ Green. Obviously they just got Bobby Portis back from his 25-game suspension. So still got Brook Lopez there. So they got some guys that wanted there, but that team aged very quickly. And, it was actually surprising they found a way to get to 48 wins. Like I was shocked, honestly, because between the injuries and the certain stretches they went to, like I didn't think that Doc would make it through the year, to be honest, out because of how bad they were in certain stretches. So, so I guess, kudos in the moment, I guess. But in Indiana is the better team. And quite frankly, they're the deeper team, right? They have some guys back that wasn't there against us last year in the conference finals. Bennedict Mathurin is a problem, ladies and gentlemen. He's a really good player. He should be starting on a few teams, but for some reason he's not starting. I don't know why. Maybe Ricardo just says he's better off the bench, but he's to me he's the conference version of Kuminga. Like dude is nasty, and he should get more of a role in that team because he brings them to another gear. They could really score. To me, they had to play like how we play here in Boston because they could score 140 on you like that. So they play very fast pace. So I say that to say I think Indiana actually wins the series handily, especially with our Dame not there. I'm being generous, and I'm saying Indiana in 5.
Wow, that was scathing of the Milwaukee Bucks. Can I make a counterpoint as I pivot to Mike because I saw him vehemently agreeing with you as that went. So I guess you guys are going to form a team.
I know. I think I'm going to go down there, bro. But I feel like I've been.
Mike was grinning evilly as you talk shit about a Doc Rivers led team. Like he was grinning with like it was like that meme that they made from The Departed.
I would say Pacers in 3.
It was that Jack Nicholson meme of him nodding like villainously.
Oh, shining.
I really, yeah. Like just as it's like just zooms into his face. Mike had a full like "Welcome to the Dark Side" Ray look on his face. I'm almost scared to talk to him now. But yeah, all right, Mike. Can I pivot one little bit?
Yeah.
To Ray's point, I'm gonna do a little sneaky trick here where I disagree with Ray, but I make you defend the point, just because I feel like Bobby also agrees with you guys. So I'm about to get ganged up on. So here we go. I'm just gonna try and do a little kung fu here. To Ray's point, he says that they're the better overall team. A lot has been made about how the Indiana Pacers move the ball, which might have been on your list in your repertoire to bring up. I just have to say, other than the Denver Nuggets, no team's plus minus is more affected by one guy going off the floor more than the Indiana Pacers, and that guy's name is Tyrese Haliburton. So how can both things be true? How can they be the most team-centric team and their team and their plucky, passy, and then also if Halliburton, and I know he's the point guard, don't get me wrong, but if Halliburton's not out there, they can't do shit. So Are we sure? Are we totally sure about those
So
points, or is that just a little bit of a gloss?
no, that's a really good point, and that's totally valid. But what I would tell you is that three
Thanks,
out of
man.
the five starters for the Pacers averaged 4.5 more points when they played the Bucks this season.
Ooh,
So
what a
like
right pause.
every Pacer player is better going against the Bucks, and that was presumably when they had Dame. So listen, I'm just going to tell you right now, if the Bucks get swept in this series, that's not Doc Rivers' fault. They lost Dame, and you couldn't plan for that. So I won't hold this series against them, but I do expect the Pacers to beat them in five.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that obviously is like a huge X factor. It's just for me, it's just the honest of it all, man. Like honestly,
That's what saved him last year, though, because they both got injured, right? And in
yeah.
last year, Indiana, and once again, Middleton saved them. I think in Game 4, Game 5 to push it to a Game 6,
No,
which I think
that's
saved his job. You know what I'm saying? But
that's
you don't
the
have it this year, so
that's the classic Doc formula, though. Is like when all like shit hits the fan and his back's against the wall, he will do almost enough to win, just
yeah,
almost.
yeah, yeah. So
I just
Is
don't
it the
see a
whole
team.
playoffs, that deep vein thrombosis thing? Is it like no matter, could they do like a
Um,
plucky thing?
I think if they find a way to get to the second round, which obviously I mean it can still happen. It's not like it's a foregone conclusion, but because nothing's absolute. But I think if they get to the second round, I think that they're going to look to ramp him up and get started. Once again, Dame is one of the greatest postseason performers of this generation as well. So I would love to see him on that
That's what
stage.
I'm saying.
Well, he got brought to Milwaukee, but obviously, it hasn't worked out the way that they all envisioned. But we'll see. Once again, Giannis has played well. He should have been under the radar, like you alluded to. He should not be under the radar. He is someone that has been amazing, really all season. And when he's right, he clearly is someone who is still very dominant. And he puts up Jokic type numbers. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. Once again, watch the tape. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie.
No,
So
he's so exhausting to play against.
but
He's really
he's still good.
he's the best player in almost every series he could hypothetically be in.
Yeah.
We did hypothetical Embiid earlier. You can really do, and it's more of a fair thing to do hypothetical Milwaukee Bucks. Like they have an injured star every year, it feels like, and most of the time it's Chris Middleton, but like last year it was Giannis, this year it's Dame. Like the hypothetical Milwaukee Bucks, Bob. Do you think that they actually get a bad rap? I know they're all our Eastern Conference rivals, so we don't give them a lot of grace. But I don't know. I'm just trying to look at it like I'm always sort of a little scared of Giannis, and I don't know if anybody in Indiana has really proven that they could do it. And I've seen Giannis do it, and I understand, obviously Dame missing the start, but we're always lamenting Middleton. That seems like we could do something there. Like, do you think just they have Giannis? You know what I mean? Can I convince you, or are you going on team them?
So I'm not as far on team them as they are. I don't think it's gonna be 5 because of
3-1.
Giannis. Like, listen, I remember the Giannis series with the Celtics a couple years ago, where that was the most exhausting 7 games of basketball that I've ever watched in my life. And like that was
A couple
just
years
me
ago. That was
watching
7 years ago now. I know that's upsetting to hear, but that was like 2018 when that happened. So,
I was like,
yeah, it's been a minute.
But I still remember that like it was yesterday. So, like you said, he's always going to be the best player in the series. However, he is the best player in the series, but the Pacers have 2, 3, and 4. You know what I mean? Like the next best of Bucks is Kuzma. Without Lillard there, Kuzma isn't just going to get it done issue 2. As good as Giannis is against a good basketball team, Kyle Kuzma is not going to get it done as your number 2 option. It's just not going to happen. I think it's Pacers in 6. I don't think it's as lopsided because of Giannis, but I just think, with Halliburton and offensive firepower, I don't see the Bucks being able to get past them. And, to Mike's credit, with Doc Rivers' playoff record, it's not like the coaching is going to take them up to the next level either. So, as good as Giannis is,
I thought it was really good
just don't see
timing
it.
that.
Yeah, to that point, right? And it's crazy because like I said, we've seen it sometimes here. We've seen it even sometimes when he was in LA and even in Philly. It's wild because, and his players have said it, so this is not something I'm vouching for. This is players have said he's excellent in X's and O's. He's excellent. He calls great plays. It's crazy. Like we've talked about plays that he's called. So it's wild that someone that could call plays or draw plays as well as he does, for some reason, there's a breakdown. And once again, part of it has been injuries, but part of it is just like certain moments you just haven't given the moment what it required as a coach. But it's like I said, Garnett's talked about it, Rondo's talked about it, Pierce talked about it, Scouts talked about it. So like they talked about how he's excellent with X's and O's, but for some reason, when like I said, when it's gut check time, it just hasn't come together the way that it should at times.
Yeah, I think that's all pretty fair. You guys are probably right. Smart money's probably on you. Vegas is probably with all you guys.
Well,
You sobered me up from start to finish. I'm more sober on this series. I don't know. I hope it's more interesting than that. I'll still take Bucks in 7 just to be the one dissenting voice. But you guys are probably right.